All right. All righty. What do we see here from Marvin?
I see Praxis Banner, Shugo Standard, Praxis Insignia. Two Praxis Insignias, a Shugo Standard, a Initiate of the Sand, Sandstorm Titan, Sabertooth Pride Leader, and a Torch, which I think is a fairly keepable hand.
Yeah.
And so does Marvin. You're hard pressed to think that your Initiate is going to survive. Ooh, second Sabertooth
Yeah.
Pride Leader off the top is really good
Tell you
against
what,
the
those two pride leaders against a deck that's trying to burn your life total are going to be really effective. Eat a unit and gain three, and there's a third one. Marvin's got to be really excited to see that.
Yeah, I really feel at this point it's to sound horrible. I feel like it's Marvin's game to lose at this point because unless it's something like a Vara or a champion, I just don't see how triple Pride Leader is going to lose. Granted, Marvin does not have removal for something that big, but all the other 3/3s that we see and 3/4s are just going to get straight up roadblocked by three Sabertooths.
Do you start firing them off right here, or do you untap and Sandstorm Titan first?
You're gonna eat the first something is gonna eat a removal spell, so I think I'd rather at least get one on the board end of turn. Ooh,
Flame Blast to take care of. Wow.
wow, and that was actually
Aggressive.
really relevant actually. I mean, because it just stopped them from playing a Sabertooth.
It did. Luckily, Marvin drew the power they needed that turn to be able to follow up. And look at this four-drop hand. Triple Sabertooth is going to be brutal for gold. Marvin's just
Yeah,
going to
see,
fire it in, eat a unit, gain three, and then it's got two more in the bank.
yeah. So the best you can hope for is either Annihilate to take out the Sabertooth or the Torch, so you at least
Yeah, but that's
get
not
something
even
off
going
the.
to. Okay.
Oh
All
no!
right. I mean, it's still 2 for 1 you there, which is pretty rough. Again, with another one,
Honestly,
but
I mean
oh, and then power
it's
into Zumikon on top.
It was also a huge tempo swing because you stopped the 3 damage from the instigator and gained 3 life.
Yeah, I mean, this is just going to be too much for gold. Interesting they didn't ambush the Zumikon off the top.
Yeah, that actually is extremely interesting to me. I don't see like you had the 5 power, you would have gotten an additional blocker off of it.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm
I
not
think he's got to be so far ahead at this point that it probably doesn't matter. But I would have liked to see that warp there.
of no gold is still stuck on power,
Yeah,
and Marvin just drawing straight gas, non-stop action here.
and it's fine playing the Titan here because Gold's unit is still shifting to ambush units.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. You're a true master. You were correct. I completely forgot the five
Oh, you're right. They
influence.
don't have the 5 time influence. Good. You are the true master for pointing that out. All right, so they don't have the time ins to play the Zumikon, but they do have another Sabertooth. And they have the teacher on board. Of course, they couldn't block the unblockable shift unit that turn anyway. Flame Blast again, taking through the. Pretty aggressive on using these Flame Blasts on units to try to keep the board clear.
I mean, to Gold's credit, they've had every removal spell to answer every single thing Marvin's been throwing down.
That is true, but it still might not be enough. And here's a Heart of the Vault off the top.
Oh, yeah,
And Gold has had enough. Gold says, "Nope, I'm not sticking around for any more of this."
yeah, man. I really do think it would have been a way more of a game if Gold was hitting their power.
Yeah, but
I mean,
what a
kudos
hand
to
though! What a hand though for Marvin. I mean, that was the triple Pride leader. You had two Titans in there. It was pretty brutal hand to face for an aggro deck for sure.
yeah, without a doubt. Like I said, even with a good curve out, I think I would have still been surprised if Gold was able to pull that off, just because of that was about the optimal hand you'd want to see.
All right, this is a little tougher though. This hand is not as pretty for Marvin, and Marvin's going to go to 6. It's got Diogo and a Seek Answers. Ooh, it was a nice game 1 hand, but it's paying for it now. The karma's come back around for this game 2 hand.
Yep, and they're on the draw, so they're gonna be hard pressed.
Now, Gold, that's no guarantee, though. Gold needs to needs to put pressure on and actually punish this hand, because if Gold waits and lets Marvin, build up to their big units, they can definitely stabilize.
So do you seek answers here, or do you treasure trove?
I think I Well, that answers that. I wouldn't treasure trove the Zumakin, so I think I would seek answers for a non-power.
Let's see if Marvin agrees with you. They do not.
Yeah, that's why I don't predict what people are going to do.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. But it's good. That's one of the things I really enjoy about card games.
Absolutely.
Is the fact that sometimes there isn't a right or wrong line. It's just different lines, and it's interesting to see people's justifications for them.
Absolutely.
Oh God,
another Zumakin on top. I mean, those are going to be great, but too slow though at this point.
They can scout it away if they want. So they're going to seek answers here first.
Seek answers first, and then I would imagine. Well, do you though? At this point, you're going to hit your third power. Do you want? Can you afford to wait until turn 5 and have that be your turn 6 play? Next turn, near Diogo, then yeah.
The interesting thing about Zumakan is the fact that the only answer their deck is going to have to it is going to be the Annihilate.
Yep.
If you wait for the ambush, so you're going to at the very least eat a unit and get a chump blocker. At the very least.
But can you wait that long is going to be the problem. And Gold dropping 2 more units and pumping the Black Hole War Leader. Marvin with no removal in hand, going to have to just play out a Diogo here to block. And if this just eats a removal spell, it's probably game.
Which, they haven't played any other threats, so you know it's going to.
Yeah. That's going to do that. You're going to take 1 from the Instigator as well. And that's just going to be it. There's nothing that Marvin can draw here to get him out of this.
Yeah.
All right, 1-1, another close match that we've seen. These decks feel pretty evenly matched, if I'm honest with you. I think that, if the Stone Scar deck gets the aggro draw, I think they can win very quickly. If Marvin is able to get the removal draw into the big units, they can win very easily. So I think these are 2 very even decks.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I think this matchup in particular is a little less about strategy and gameplay and a little more about the way cards answers to threats line up, if that makes sense. Don't get me wrong. There's still some correct lines and thought process, but if they just have the wrong removal with the wrong unit or something like that, I think that could be a really big deciding factor in the match.
Yeah, and I think to that end, a lot of that skill might come from mulligan decisions too in your early plays. What are you keeping? What are you scouting to the top or bottom? How are you sculpting your early turns of the game to put you in that position so that you can take advantage of those draws? And I think we've seen tonight how skilled these players have been at doing that the right way.
All right, let's see if that Praxis Arcanum does anything against this aggressive start. It does. Obviously, he refreshes right off the bat, giving something 4 health, but he does take a whole turn off to do it. So we'll see.
Gold with the turn 1 shift unit, followed by the Instigator, followed by a clutch Desecrate there on the Tokas for sure. And getting in for 3. Marvin playing out the Merchant. Merchant's a good card in this matchup too. Being that 4 health body to block and the pumping the power and switching a card, it just actually matches up pretty well against Gold's deck.
Yeah, I think the only thing it tussles poorly with is the champion, because even Vara most of the time we've seen a lot of people just sack it to keep it as a 3/3, and Bandit Queen, but obviously it's only for a turn. Yeah, so we're seeing it do some work here.
Nice curve out for Gold. Arista.
Of note, they're still missing a Fire Sigil, so even they may not be able to play. All right, never mind. There they go. So they're going to get. Sadly, it won't be able to take a unit out, but they're still going to get a card and a blocker out of it.
Yeah, that's still a good play.
Why did they not go face there? I'm trying to think. Let me look at their list. Do they have a coin? Wouldn't work. Oh, if they drew a torch. No, torch would have killed it. Huh. I'm going to look and see why they didn't go face there. I get it. Like, they could have drawn something that could have finished them off, but I don't think they have anything in their deck that does 1 or 2 power or damage.
There's a Flame Blast. Going to go face. Again, Gold going face with the Flame Blast, ignoring the units that we've seen before, putting that damage. I wonder if Gold has another Flame Blast or an Obliterate or something in hand. Not taking out a unit with that.
Yeah, there's literally nothing in the deck that could have finished off that that unit with the 2 damage on it. So I'm wondering why they didn't just go face.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be relevant, but we'll see. It could. I'm the type of person that I'll keep track of that and be like, all right, what happens if my opponent's at 18 for the rest of the game? And then if I die with them at 2, I'm like kicking myself.
Well, we know that gold has no problem going face, that's for sure. All right, getting the Praxis Arcanum back from the market, presumably to gain
8 life,
gain
essentially.
health, yeah.
So the question is if they pump one of their merchants to make it a 0-8, or if they just go ahead and pump the initiate. They could also give Zoe, well, I guess that's not that relevant. You won't be able to Zoe and like ping at the same time. So giving Zoe charge isn't.
Do they give themselves just 4 health too? Because you can do it to yourself.
I think. Oh, it's not both.
It's or.
Give yourself
so
or.
They might just want to. If they're burning, if gold's burning face, you might just want to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had it confused. What is it? It's the medic that does a unit and yourself.
Yeah.
So okay, that's what I had it confused as. Yeah, this one. Yeah, giving yourself 4 health.
That's 100%. Actually a bold strategy to not use that last turn when you know you're in flame blast damage the following turn. Because if Gold had drawn a power there in Flame Blast, that would have just been game. Now, it's not going to punish Marvin because it's going to be able to go back to their turn and gain the health anyway. And they do end up gaining 4. They go from 7 to 11 here.
So they are going to try to surprise attack with the Zoe to take the game, which, I mean, is not a incorrect line of play. Like, obviously Gold is the aggressor and they might think they're the aggressor when they should have changed. I mean, they just don't have an option.
They can't do anything.
Yeah, Marvin's top end is so strong they have to be the aggressor pretty much full time. Yeah, and that Annihilate is going to cost them now with that Zoe.
Put it to 10. Is there anything Gold can do to finish with only 6 power?
Man, and see that Annihilate being... Oh, okay, they did at the end of their turn. Okay, I could see that. I was going to say, the Annihilate being fast, I would have maybe held it, but they did it at the end of Marvin's turn, so that makes sense.
Problem is, Gold tried to go face here. Gaining that 4 life off the Praxis Arcanum actually made a big difference. If they have the Flame Blast or an Obliterate here, it's not... They would have finished him off by now, but now dealing 10 with only 6 power is really tough. I can't think of a combination of 2 cards he could have to deal 10. That's not going to do it.
Well, I mean, Gold is not dead either, so they might have at least 1 or 2 more draws, depending.
And there's the Flame Blast. They did have it. They had
it.
Oh, they were so close to lethal. Unreal. They had it without the Praxis Arcanum. I don't know if that's results-oriented when we were talking about Praxis Arcanum earlier, but... Now, can Gold draw Obliterate?
He's got some outs. And they did scout bot down, so their top of the deck is random.
So another Flame Blast and Obliterate.
So here's the thing now. If you're Marvin, do you play... The Arcanum. Oh, you're gonna get. Never mind. You're gonna get the ultimate anyways. Never mind.
That's not it. There's a power, and that's gonna be game. That's 2-1. That was a really close one. Literally 1 turn away from Gold being able to Flame Blast for lethal. So that's 2-1 on Marvin's side. So Marvin now is 1 win away from the champion. But as we said, if Gold, as we saw firsthand, if Gold gets a nice aggro draw, they can definitely take this.
And once again, it wasn't one-sided either. It was very much close. It was anybody's game the entire time. In fact, it was probably closer to Gold's game until the very last 2 turns.
Good point by Uriq that Obliterate was actually in Gold's market. So that actually was not an out at the end there. Because they would not have a card to switch with Smuggler. Okay, so Marvin's got the double Teacher of Humility, the Zumikon, the Zhou. Gold does have a 1-drop shift unit. That's a clutch. That's really good for the Stones card deck to have the 1-drop. Marvin playing the Teacher. Does Gold have an answer?
Yep. Do they answer? We've already seen them before. Gold has no problem taking threats off the board instead of adding threats to it. So
now, how much do you think that the weights actually affect Gold's deck, though? Gold isn't really working with the market too much. They're not drawing a bunch of extra cards. Do you think they care if the Teacher hits them?
I think in this matchup, it is because like you have a certain amount of turns to get damage in on the ground, and then you have to go for your reach. And Obliterate going from 6 to 8 is huge.
Yeah.
So
It's
even though
potentially uncastable at that point. Yeah.
yeah, you are correct. Don't get me wrong. I think you're right that they are not using. They can go without using the market, but man, in this specific matchup, I think they do need access to that market.
So Marvin does have Zumikon in hand, but notably only 2 time influence. So they're still pretty far away from playing the Zumikon there. But there's 2 time influence off the top of the deck, so now they're only 1 away. And they also can get the Praxis Arcanum down next turn if they choose to do so. But that's a big Champion of Chaos for gold as well. We talked about how great that card was.
Yep, and there's no current answer to it right now.
Yeah, there's nothing on board that Marvin can do to deal with this as it stands.
All right, we're going to see if how much they value the weights or not now. They are in the tank, so they obviously are trying to make a decision on whether to develop their board or to, yeah, okay. Oh, and they have boar in the board, correct?
They do.
They could get it, I guess, preemptively and just take out the one set of chains. I mean, it's not great.
I mean, at that point, I guess, but I'll go back to you're throwing a card away from your hand to get an answer to the weights that might not really even affect you. I mean, I guess if you know you're going to go for the Obliterate, I think you can probably do that, but that's a lot of work to get rid of something that.
No, you're totally correct. I think boar would be correct in essentially to break the chains and then break an obelisk, but just to do it to break the chains, you're correct. I like your idea of just going for the Obliterate now because you know that's the way you're gonna end the game.
So Bandit Queen, that's a nice draw. That's gonna be really tough now. That's 18 damage. That's lethal coming in right now. So Marvin has to chump block to stay alive.
Ooh.
Not knowing how much on gold could have burn in hand to follow this up. That was a huge Bandit Queen there. Great play by gold.
Yep.
I mean, even without burn, this might not be enough with that champion with the deadly overwhelm.
All right, so this is another example of whether the temple is doing work or not. It gained him 4 life.
I mean, gold has 11 damage through a block, right?
3, 6. No, they have. Oh yeah, because of the Mm-hmm.
I think this is lethal anyway. Yeah, that was just lethal anyway. All right, wow. So here we go. I mean, this was the story of the tournament tonight. These close matchups, really close decks. I can't say that any deck that we've seen is head and shoulders above any other deck. They've all seemed pretty even. We've had some really close matches, and the finals, what a surprise, going to Game 5.
Yep, I agree with you 100%. We definitely are not lacking on good content right now. These are very not one-sided decks, and even there were, gold was on the play and the aggressor the entire time. Marvin still had plenty of games to play and plenty of actions to take that could have stabilized, I feel like. So
yeah. Now, we've talked about the card of the tournament tonight. I think we've overlooked a subtle one, but you notice what card these two decks have in common is Torch. Having a 1 power removal spell, it doesn't always seem like the flashiest play, but having both of these decks have access to a 1 power removal spell that can kind of deal with anything and can also go face to finish out the game. How powerful is Torch in ranked right now?
I mean, if you're playing red, there's absolute borderline no reason not to play it. And speak of the double, now there's 2 of them.
Yeah. All right, Marvin getting out the teacher. Gold gonna hit that 1 drop a little late. You really wanted to do that on turn 1. See if they have a torch. They do, and there you go. The torch hitting the teacher.
Oof. So Marvin, I mean, they're gonna get Tokas to put him up on their next power.
I think they need an answer to this Tokas here. And there it is.
And they do. All right. So let's see.
Oh, another Tokas. That's gonna be tough for gold. That's really not what gold wants to see. Do they have a reactive hand?
Now, of note, though, drawing Tokas means they did miss power.
They did. There's a good... But Champion's pretty good here. Now, does Marvin double...
I think you do, because your deck has so few answers to it.
They pass
And your
turn.
Sabretooth here can't block either of these units, and you don't want to double block the champion 2 for winning yourself.
They take the damage. And they risk it. Or do you torch the 2 units? But I don't think you torch the units because you have the Pride Leader.
Okay.
Okay. They're going to ambush in the Pride Leader there. They're going to play Teacher. Well, that's a good look at this power usage. They can play the Teacher and keep up both torches.
Man, but they're still missing power. I think I would not. I think I would kill the Rista before combat. Like getting the Warcry on the wrong or on the right unit could be backbreaking as well, because then Torch can't kill it. It can. Let's see what they're looking at.
Hitting the Tokas. That's not going to affect the power for this turn. So Marvin still has the 2 power, but that's a good play. Oh, interesting. Chooses not to eat one of the units. He's going to torch the other 2.
Okay.
Torch that. Make the trade there.
Yeah. Okay. So this way, the disciplinary weights can draw them a card, and it might be a power.
It's got to be a power here. If it's a power, that's a big game because you can hit the Sabretooth too.
Oh man.
Ooh, that's tough. That's a risk. That's a risky play, but
Gold killing those 2 Tokas was huge because of Marvin being stuck on power.
Double Instigator at 10. Oh no, and another 4 drop. Look at this.
Yeah,
and Gold smartly killing all the power units. Gonna knock Marvin down to 4, down to 2.
Burn off the top. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it. That's game. There's no way. I mean, there's the power, but it's even depleted.
And it's even depleted. That is too late. Killing the 2 Tokas was crucial for Gold. Well played, understanding how important it was to take off the power units, and that'll be it. And Gold 47, down 2 games to 1, will win the final 2, and Gold 47 is our champion. So congratulations, Gold. Well earned.